Mark Twain wrote one day, "When I was 17 years old, it really occurred to me how ignorant my old man was. When I turned 21 and I looked again at him, I was amazed at how much he had learned in 4 years." And let's all be honest with ourselves. When we were 17 or 18 years old, we felt very much the same way as Mark Twain. We knew better than everyone else. We knew the real deal. We understood how the world really worked. And really, it's just those who were older than us just didn't get it. And then sometime over time, we kind of begin to realize, well, maybe we didn't really know as much as we thought we did. Just to ask any parent who told their parents how badly they were as parents and then end up doing, well, let's be all honest, we end up as our parents. Wisdom. That ability to see the world and to understand truth and reality. Solomon actually works in the opposite direction where wisdom is concerned. As a very young man, he becomes king of Israel. And he recognizes in that moment that he really did not have the wisdom to rule his people. He didn't have what was necessary to be the king that the people needed him to be. And so when the Lord asks him, "What do you want of me?" he simply asks for wisdom. And the Lord granted it to him. As we think about this story and this reality of Solomon, what we come to see, though, is that changes for him. In the rest of the story of Solomon's life, in time, Solomon will begin to lose that true sense of wisdom. He will begin to act in ways that are contrary to the good of his people, to the good of the nation. And why does it happen? And it comes down to one simple word: faith. While Solomon retained his faith, it is there that he was able to show that wisdom, that gift that God had truly given to him. But as soon as he began to lose that faith and began to worship other gods, his wisdom began to leave him, to the point that it would be Solomon's fault. It didn't happen under Solomon, but Solomon would set up his country for destruction, for the division of the nation into two. And it ultimately was because he gave up his faith and in that lost the gift of wisdom. True wisdom is not possible without faith. And I know what I'm about to say is going to irk some people, but it's the truth. You cannot have wisdom without Christian faith. It is impossible. You can have a worldly wisdom, but you can't have true wisdom without faith in Jesus Christ. For the simple reason that Jesus himself tells us, "I am the way and the truth and the life. And no one comes to the Father except through me." Now, I'm not saying that others can't discover truth at some level, but the fullness of truth is only possible in Jesus Christ. Because wisdom is not only about understanding the world as it is, but it is about coming to understand it as God intends it to be. It is God who created all that is, and it is God who gave purpose to all that he created. All that exists has a purpose, an end, an order to it. And to discover that, you have to really understand who God is. And that is only possible through Jesus Christ. For it is in Christ that we come to open up to truth. And it is in Christ that we begin to understand this world as God intends it to be, as opposed to how it is because of the fall and the brokenness that exists. And ultimately, each and every one of us, therefore, is called, like Solomon, to seek wisdom. But the first step in that is to understand, like Solomon, that we don't have it. And that we need God's help to truly open up through his grace, through his mercy, to truly open up to that wisdom. And why is wisdom so important? It comes down to this one reality. As we look at the world as it is today, and I don't care which side of the aisle you might be on, everyone has a problem with the way the world is. And how can I say that? Because there has been no time or age that everyone hasn't had a problem with the way the world is. That is nothing new. But if we want to begin to discover the potential that exists in the world, in other people, and in ourselves, the only way that is possible is through wisdom. That wisdom that comes through faith in Christ. It is wisdom that allows us to see what is possible. It is that wisdom then that helps us to have the strength to hope in what can be. And that is why wisdom is so important. May we, like Solomon when he was younger, not seek fame and fortune, not seek the things that are passing and that can be lost. Let us, in our faith, seek that great pearl, the pearl of great price, that allows us to begin to understand the world that our God has created. What it is, yes, but even more powerfully, what it can be. And what is true of the world is also true of ourselves. May we grow in that wisdom to understand not simply who we are now, but who it is God has created us to be. And seeing that difference, we begin to show wisdom.